Hello everyone, welcome back to Body and Style. Today we're going to be talking about how they took Lou in Me Before You from this to this bombshell. I love talking on my TikTok page about how understanding your body type is more than understanding what looks good on you, what looks bad on you, what flatters you, what makes you the most visually appealing, because it's not all about that. It's about creating an effect, and this is well-known knowledge within the TV industry, the fashion industry, that some things suit certain bodies better than others, and that some people you can create an effect using certain types of people. And often when people go to castings, they'll be told things like, you look like this certain type of body, so you'd be suited to these sorts of roles, for example. But more specifically, in terms of Lou, the story is that she is a young girl in a village or town. I did read the book and watch the film, but it was a long time ago. But from what I remember, basically she is hired into this very wealthy family, a background that she doesn't have. They're very old money English, and this woman's son is disabled from some sort of accident that he has, something like a skiing or a flying sort of accident, and basically her job is to be a carer for him. Obviously she's not trained in any way, it's less of like a nurse profession and more of like a carer, just look after him sort of role. So the way this comes into her outfits is that the effect they're trying to create is that she doesn't quite fit in, that she's trying a little bit too hard, that she's very creative and bold, that she has independent thought, and that she is different ultimately from the family that she's going into. Also, she's a very cheery person, she likes fashion, she's very positive, and this again all kind of comes into that. It's worth noting, as a couple of people that mentioned on my TikTok, she also dresses like this, especially in the book, to protect herself from men after she was assaulted. It's kind of like a defense mechanism, but I'm not really talking about that plotline quite so much with this analysis. Emilia Clarke is a romantic body type. This means that she is the most yin on the yin to yang scale, so she's very soft and rounded, delicate, short, little, and overall just very dainty. She has soft and rounded shoulders, she has a short vertical line, which means her head is slightly big for the rest of her body, she has short and narrow limbs, she has little hands and feet, and she has curve in the chest and hips, or in other words, double curve. She has this sense of bonelessness to her. So this is how we know that she's a romantic. This means that Emilia Clarke suits, you could describe the shapes in a similar way to what we just said for her body type, because that's the idea of Quirky theory, that you dress in harmony with your body type. So she looks best in soft, little, rounded, delicate, dainty clothing, short lines. She looks very good in waist emphasis, it's very important for romantic types, florals, yin details, sparkle, sheen, shimmer, tulle. She looks good in sensual styles, romantic styles, and I would say she also has romantic essence, which means that her facial features are very soft and lush, although you could argue that she has some ingenue features which make her look quite youthful. It's really hard to tell a celebrity's colour season from photos. What I can say is I'm pretty sure she's some sort of warm season, so she's either a spring or an autumn. I'm leaning towards spring, but you tell me what you think. So how do they create the effects that I mentioned above in Me Before You? So they take this romantic body type and they dress her in gamine lines. If you are unfamiliar with this terminology, gamines are also little and delicate and rounded, so it doesn't look completely unnatural on her. But gamines are also more angular, as are the styles. They're a lot more geometric, they're a lot more fitted, a lot more structured, and this very much contrasts with Emilia Clarke's body type, so it looks slightly out of harmony with her when she wears things which are fitted and structured and just got that little bit of more yang in there, because she needs very soft and rounded styles. When she's dressed in these gamine styles in Me Before You, it makes her look a little bit restricted, a little bit off, she's slightly out of harmony, and this is what creates that looking slightly out of place kind of feel. Gamine styles look really good, of course, on gamines like, oh my god, what's her name? Like Emily in Paris, where in that show, even though they're really over the top styles, they have to be really over the top to look over the top on her because she's a gamine, but more on that in a later video. Or for example on Reese Witherspoon, look, all this detailed stuff just looks very elegant on her and it doesn't look particularly quirky, whereas on Emilia Clarke there is a sense of quirkiness created because all this angularity on such a soft body creates this kind of offbeat kind of feel. I also think that the styles in this movie to some extent pertain to certain trends in the early 2010s, which was when this whole film was made. There was a sort of 80s revival. There was a lot of these quirky, crazy styles, which you're not seeing on TikTok at the moment with the 2014 Tumblr craze coming back. Just a bit before that, we had a lot of these really crazy, quirky styles, like the moustache trend. But like a lot of that was really popular, and I noticed, for example, that she has a pair of irregular choice shoes, which prompted me to get these babies. They're so gorgeous. So she had a pair of this brand, which is that kind of crazy, offbeat, quirky kind of style that I think was really in at the time and was really resonated with me as someone that didn't really feel like they fit in. And I think there was a lot of this not fitting in kind of culture at the time of wanting to look different amongst certain types of people. It's like a sort of sub-trend, I guess you could say. So again, when Emilia wears these kind of styles which are very restricted, for example the one that she wears when she goes to the job interview, which has lots of geometric patterns, lots of detail near the face, this very structured sort of blazer, it looks like she's trying just a bit too hard and she doesn't give across this sense of elegance. Does it look bad and horrific? No, I think it looks pretty cool and really fun. But that is the impression that you get, that she's a fun sort of person. She's quirky. She doesn't really care about the rules. She's there to go her own way and do her own thing. So this is how they create the effect for her at the start. And then she goes through this transformation where suddenly she becomes the love interest. She's kind of seen through the male gaze a little bit as she begins to become the attention of, I can't remember what the guy that Sam plays, can't remember what he's called, but like the main protagonist guy in the show, he begins to like her and she goes through this big transformation. She goes to the opera with him and she's wearing this beautiful red dress. Now this dress works so well because it works for her romantic body type. First of all, it's this lovely lush red, which already is a romantic colour, of course, and this is supposed to be like a romantic scenario, but it also works for her because she has this romantic body type. So these sort of lush shades will really work for her in that sense. Also, you can see that this dress has waist emphasis. The details are brought right down, and romantics can have a lot of detail as long as they're like lush yin details, but they're not quite as, but you can see that it's very different to that gamine staccato detail that she's wearing a lot all the way through the show. It takes all of that away and there's a sense of simplicity to it, which adds to this elegance. And it also has a flared skirt, which again increases this sort of sense of curve emphasis. It's got the heart-shaped neckline, these little rounded sleeves which work for her little rounded frame. Basically everything about it is perfect for her romantic body type because it's little, it's lush, it's soft, it's rounded. So this works really well for her. Do I think that it takes away from her personality as a character? No, I don't. It's still got that flared skirt, so it's got a sort of vintage feel about it, and I think that's how it still keeps in tune with who she is. It's still a very bold choice being this bold red. It's not a conventional dress in any way, but it's very elegant and it suits her perfectly. It's like a dress that's tailored for her, and I think that's why this works so well. So to summarize, Emilia Clarke is a romantic body type. She's little, she's soft, she's rounded. In the start of the film and for most of the film, they dress her in gamine lines, which makes her look slightly out of place and slightly quirky and offbeat. And then when they want to make her look like an object of attraction, they very much dress her in her lines, but you can see that she's liked for who she is and loved who she is because the dress retains that sense of creativity that makes her such a unique character. Okay, I hope that you have found this interesting. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about this film. I love it, and of course Emilia Clarke's transformation. And if you want me to talk about any other transformations or celebrity styles, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you next time.